Hi everyone, welcome back. Nicole here with Edge of Wild, and I have moved locations for my seed starting. I'm still in the basement, but now I'm in the laundry room. No good reason other than I can shut the door so that my kids can't get into all of my stuff. I only had them get into like my seeds once last year, but once is enough for me. So this year I am doing things a little bit differently. I still have my tote that I'm filling with soil, but instead of using seed starting mix, I found a local, like within really close distance of my house, supplier for like greenhouses, and he has a bunch of soil. So it was a lot cheaper for me to buy, I can't even pull it because it's like 60 pounds. A great big bag of soil. So I've actually bought 3. I think that'll get me through the whole year. It's a Pro Mix soil. It's the same stuff that people would use for like potting up plants in a greenhouse. So it does have some nutrients in it. It should be a little bit more nutrient rich than like seed starting mix. So we'll see just how soon I need to add in any fertilizers, any seed starting fertilizer. We'll see on that. It also has bio fungicide. I'm reading about the bag. And that's supposed to help with like algae growth and things like that. And then I can't even say the other word, but that is supposed to help with anything like thrips, any eggs, anything that would harbor in. It's just built right into the soil, and it's a natural. From everything that I can read, it's not necessarily a synthetic thing added in. Have I read too far into it? No. It is a peat-based soil, so like there is that downside. However, for the scale of what I am, I think this makes the most sense for me. I think possibly I've highly considered getting into doing soil blocking. The downside with soil blocking for me is my parents live like 4 hours from here, and we usually still do go to see them like on weekends here or there. And soil blocks, from my understanding, are high maintenance. They're like at least once a day, if not twice a day, watering. The setup that I have using seed trays, I have it figured out that if I water really heavy Friday afternoon, as long as I water when I get back here on Sunday, they're fine. They don't dry out, they don't cook, the lights are all on timers, but they're good to go that 36, 48 hour time frame, and I don't really want to give that up. So that's where I'm kind of stuck on if I'm really going to jump into the soil blocking world. I don't want to buy all the things, think I'm going to do it, and then lose a bunch of seeds. So I might toy with it some, but I'm not sold just because I don't want to lose the ability to go places, to go see my family and take my kids, because my kids are really my #1 goal in life. I love flowers. This brings me so much life. Growing vegetables brings me so much life. It is so filling for my soul, but I want my children to be included. That said, I have trays filled. For some reason, I thought I had more snapdragon seeds than I did. Also, I said I was going to do it last year, but I didn't end up doing it. Maybe I'll consider it next year. But taking, like, the trays, you get, like, chicken packs in and putting soil in that. I did it for, I think, the Blue Florum last year. Put some soil in it and put all my snapdragon seeds in that. I would do 1 per variety, I think, so smaller trays. And then moving them, because I already thin them and move them around and fill in spots. I do that for like all my seedlings, and pretty much everything does fine with it. So, I ended up sowing my snapdragons a little thicker. If they all come up, depending on germination, I may move some around to get the number of plants I want. This was less space, less soil, and then I can move stuff afterwards. So I have a bunch of trays filled up already. And most of these trays I got new last year. I have some from 2019 that I'm still using. I I know Bootstrap Farmers is a brand that a lot of people use and they're able to reuse. I do have to be quite gentle with these, and like some of them are definitely torn in the corners, and I just still pack soil in best I can. It is a risk because if the soil's not packed in there good or it's not touching all the way down to the bottom for the water, it doesn't like drop water like it should, and then they'll dry out, and sometimes I lose the seeds in a corner. But for right now, this is what's working. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to get started today because I've already started my Brussels sprouts, my celery, the Sweet Williams, and my snapdragons. Today I am starting my onion seeds, my cabbage, and then I feel like I have a pile over here, and then my Euryngum, both the blue and the white, and then the Scabiosa, the pincushion. So I'm doing the white and then the deep blue as well. So I'm going to get started doing all that. I'm going to show you on these trays. So these are just leftover trays that I got from getting 4 packs of started plants. I'm going to do my onions in here. I'm going to show you how I fill these. So I've pre-moistened the soil, pull it all out of the bag, mix some water in. My suggestion is warm water, so then you're working with warm soil. This stuff has been great. It's like less sticky, and like by sticky I mean like sticks. I've noticed less of those in here for smaller amounts than I have noticed in the seed starting mix that I get. So I'm really excited about that because this is supposed to help with fungus. Let's see, the bag says fungus gnats and thrips. It's supposed to suppress those. Since it's supposed to do that, I'm excited. I have noticed some fungus gnats in my house with my houseplants here and there. Not a ton. I don't think I've really ran into an issue too often with that. My issue I dealt with last year is algae. I don't think I helped myself in the fact that I think the lids that I start with are where the problem lies, and I should have washed them with like bleach just to kill off anything that was in them, and I didn't. So if I still have that issue this year, it's possible that it may be my fault. I may remember somewhere as I rotate through my seed starting lids to bleach the next ones prior to using them. But when it comes to packing these soil blocks, I make sure to pack the soil in there really well. 2 reasons. One, I have a whole bunch of soil this year, so I don't have to worry about running out and being kind of skimpy like I have been in the past. Something else I noticed last year when I did that is the soil didn't get packed down in the bottom very well. So then they weren't taking up water from the bottom like they should be. But if I pack it in there nice and tight, make sure that when I squeeze down there, there's not airspace. It's pretty good. So I can level that off. I'm not going to fill it all the way to the top with dirt because I want to go put onion seeds get covered with a little bit of soil. Voila. Filled up. So I'm going to do that so I'm doing an experiment too. I'm doing the old onion seed because I did buy all new onion seed. I find onion seed loses the germination rate really fast. So I would suggest getting new onion seed every year. That is one that just doesn't seem to hold on to a germination rate. Especially like the Walla Wallas went straight to 0 the next year. I still have some old seed because I also can't. I'm always an optimist. I can't just throw it out because what if it does germinate? So I filled 1 extra pack. I'm going to put all of my old seed in that pack. If nothing comes up, I don't have to worry about it. I can then toss it in 2 or 3 weeks when I'm like, yeah, no, nothing's going to come of that. But I'm going to use the new seed in 1 whole pack because I don't really want to lose out on time or have my onion seeds all off onto when I started them versus the growth rate that they are at. I have cabbage to start. just the flowers. So, I did take some clips of putting together the snapdragons, both filling the trays and then packing those ones in. I'll probably add those into here. And then my little boy helped me this weekend. I guess it was just the other day. He helped me plant out or finish out putting in the snapdragons. So he hung out down here and played on the jungle gym. By jungle gym, I mean like his floor mat. Because he's so little. And I put the vermiculite on top and took care of all that while he hung out with us. So I'll throw those clips in. It's nice when everyone naps at the same time and then you get to get stuff done. However, with 3 kids, that's just not always possible. But I really don't want to give up this part of my life. And one day I want my kids to be involved. I'd love to have their help, if they're interested. I'm not going to force them, but if they're interested, I'd love to have their help. They're not at an age where that works great yet. But I think someday they will. So as they get a little older here, I would like to include them in getting everything put together. Maybe they can help me fill seed trays and plant the seeds and do the things. They helped a little bit with pumpkins last year. They're so-so on that. We'll see. They'll probably help again this year because those are big seeds, so it's a lot easier to do. Plus, we can do it outside so the dirt can go a little bit more everywhere else. But gardening with children, especially little children, is challenging. Don't let anyone tell you it's not. But it's worth it. Because I think it gives them the chance to go out. My favorite videos I have last year of the garden, I took a whole bunch, but my favorite one is when my daughter was helping me harvest potatoes. Both of them were helping me harvest potatoes. It was just so cute to watch them try to carry the basket. The basket's got to weigh as much as they do, but they were determined to help. I love cherry tomatoes are their favorite little snack of all things, so they like to go pick those, and just watching them do that it's priceless. So I highly suggest including them. Now that said, probably won't include them in coming inside of my garden until the plants are slightly taller than them, just to reduce the chance of them getting walked on. That is when you have an in-ground garden, that is one of the risks. If you start all these plants and then, they don't know any better. They don't understand that you can't walk on the plants. And 2-year-old, you can only tell something so many times. It's just not going to click until they're a bit older. So, once everything's big and like a jungle in there, though, then they come in, because then they're not going to walk on them. At least not very often. I say that, and they did tromps through the snapdragons to try to get through to the tomatoes. But it was pretty cute. At that point, it was okay, because the snapdragons were pretty well done. Get all this soil packed in, and then I will have you join to start the seeds. Alright, so I'm going to start with these old Walla Walla seeds. I have 2 packs. Who knows how many are left in here. Let's see. It says to cover about 1/4 inch, which makes sense. Usually you take your seed. This is my onion seed. Usually you plant it twice as deep as it is wide. So, it's about 1/4 inch. So that makes roughly sense. I think if you were to plant it a little deeper, it wouldn't matter. So, here's 1 pack. There's I'm going to say 150 onion seeds in there. So what we're going to do, we're going to do 2 pieces of this are going to be Walla Wallas. And I'm just going to pick them up and heavily sprinkle them in. Cover that whole area. And I'm probably going to have to go even heavier than that because I have a lot of seeds left in my hand. I'm losing some. I pretty much know these aren't going to germinate, so I'm willing to put them all in here. Like I said, I figured I would experiment to see if I could get anything to germinate. This whole tray just might be Walla Wallas. I might have to, like... I think that's what I'm going to do, because this is also Walla Wallas. Okay, I'm going to fill another one to do the old Patterson seed. Watch, all these are going to germinate. I'm going to have 10,000 onion seeds. Then what am I going to do? That I don't know. Okay, so I like densely planted, I don't know, 450 seeds in there. I'm just going to lightly cover that with soil. Pat it down. Okay, and then I have my label made up for it to be old Walla Walla seed. Voila. It's labeled and good to go. I'm going to throw some vermiculite on it, but I'm going to do that after. Next, we're going to pull up this one. And I'm going to do those I can finally toss. These are Pattersons. This one, so I want to do some reds. I have some reds left over. I don't know how well the reds carry over. That only said I had 83% last year, so who knows. I am going to do probably about half this container. Maybe I'll do 3 of the cells as Pattersons, and then the one cell is reds, just because I didn't have a great use for red onions is what I've come to find. They're good, like, eating onion, but I don't use them very much. I use a lot of my onions for cooking. I don't eat very many raw. I did make... Lost some more seed. I did make pickled red onion this year, and that worked out really well. I think my husband had some last night on, like, tacos. So, that's my red onion seed. There's still more in this container, but I'm just going to do that many and see what comes up. If nothing comes up for them, I'm not going to worry about it. Rogue seed. At least you can tell they're different. That should be enough. Alright, we'll see what comes up for the red onions. Might be something, might be nothing. Who knows? I'm going to do the very risky thing and not label the red onion one. I should know the difference. Famous last words. Okay, so I have one whole tray of the old Walla Walla seeds, and I have one whole tray of the old Pattersons / one cell of yellows. Then, how do I want to do this? I'm going to pull this one out next, because I'm going to put cabbage in here. So, and I just have this old variety from, wow, one of the big box stores. And I'm gonna plant, let's see, 1/4 inch deep? Yeah, 1/4 inch deep. Makes sense. Looks like every other brassica seed out there in the world. So I'm gonna plant probably 4 per cell. And I will keep about 2 per cell. I have found if you plant kind of in the corners, especially if you only end up keeping like 2 in the opposite corners, you can kind of gently pull them apart when you go to put them outside. And then you kind of have 2 per growing space, which is nice. I can get the seed to drop down in. Sometimes they really stick to your finger, like no matter how you try to roll them off. Okay. Here's all those. I have not noticed a decrease in germination from these ones, so I will continue to keep these to use in the future. I'm going to sprinkle some dirt over top of this. And then I will pat it down in. Voila. And then I'm just going to keep repeating that. I'm going to do that with all of my flower seeds. I'm going to do my newer onions so that I have those. I better make a label that says cabbage, otherwise I will forget. Okay. Label made. So I'm going to keep doing that. I will show you the Euryngum seeds and the Scabiosa seeds, in case you're curious what they look like. So, see if I can get it to focus. That's the Euryngum seed. And then this is the Scabiosa. Anyone else get excited when you open a seed pack and find that the seed's a little bigger than you thought? Ooh, like this one. And you're like, oh yeah, I can work with those seeds. That beats dealing with the seeds off of, say, like Snapdragon seeds, which are ridiculously tiny to deal with. Or even, like, I don't have them out here, but the Feverfew. Feverfew are wicked bad to deal with, because they're just so tiny. Right down here. So, I'm going to work on getting all of that filled out. That pretty much is going to be my morning. It'll probably take me, I'm going to say like an hour to get everything done. These I will put out there, my vermiculite. It's just stuff I ordered on Amazon, so I just have a big bag. Actually, 2. It's like a fine sawdust almost. But it helps with moisture, and then it just helps with moisture and everything, especially for things that like the Snapdragons and the Sweet Williams. They didn't want to be covered, they wanted light to germinate, but you can still sprinkle that on. It helps hold the moisture in, and they're still getting the light they need to germinate when you put a thin layer on. So that's what I am doing today. That is how seed starting is beginning for me. I'm going to try to check in like once a week, let you know what's going on, what I have started, what's growing, how the new soil's working out, if it isn't working out, and then as I get planting. So I'm excited to go through the season, share with you and my future self what I have going on. I love being able to look back at all the videos I've made, because then I can be like, oh yeah, that, I didn't like doing that, so I can change that. So if anything, it's a really good video diary for me, because reading notes and keeping track of the notes and writing the notes down, so. But when I just have to talk and then can edit the video, I can handle that. So with that, I wish you the best of week. I will catch up with you next week. Have a wonderful, wonderful week.
My appetite, don't leave me here high and dry. Oh, well, I don't wanna jinx it, baby, and twist myself at the spine. Don't wanna overthink it, baby, it's just twist your body and mine. Baby, you give me ice and fire. You're giving me wind and rain. You're some kind of butterfly. Baby, you give me midnight. You whip up my appetite. Don't leave me here high and dry. Oh, but I don't wanna jinx it, baby. Not get ahead of my time. Oh, but I don't really miss you, baby. So I stand up and speak my mind. Oh. You're chilling wind and rain. You're some kind of butterfly. Baby, you give me midnight. You whip up my appetite. Don't leave me alone.